how it might backfire though on the party who's tendering it? Like how can it backfire? I'm thinking, I've got this fantastic evidence. How can it be bad for me?
People are going in and doing this recording
Yeah.
with a mindset and an idea in the back of their head of what the recording is actually going to prove.
Yes.
But they haven't taken that step back to say, it's going to show the judge that both of you maybe are behaving really, really badly.
Right.
One of the best cases that we got about this is an example of this. It was decided, it's a court case. It was decided in 2014.
Okay.
It's a case called Bellerieve versus Hammond.
Right.
And we can give the quote if we want. It's 2014 Ontario Court of Justice 770.
Yep.
At that point, the father had introduced surreptitious recordings he'd made of his partner and the children because he was claiming the other parent was trying to alienate the kids from him.
Yeah.
And what the court found that the surreptitious recordings not only failed to substantiate his allegations of parental alienation, the fact that he secretly recorded those conversations led the judge to an inference that it was the father who was actually deepening the rift between himself and his daughter.
Oh dear.
Because he was the one that was doing things that was really upsetting for the child and trying to set up a situation to make the other party look bad. So it really backfired on him in that case.
Yeah.
There was another case from British Columbia in 2018, so a little bit more recent. And in that case, it's called Surret and Butkiewicz. And I'm assuming you're doing your usual magic so people can actually go. And it's interesting reading these cases on surreptitious recording because it shows you like what extents people will go to.
Oh, wow.
And it will actually probably, maybe even hopefully, make some people wince when you're not in the heat of things yourselves to actually see what this looks like to other people when you're not right in the middle of that fight that's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So in Surret and Butkiewicz, there was the court ruled the surreptitious records were admissible, even though they were illegally obtained.
Wow.
But in their reasons, the judge found there is more to this recording than its contents, however. There is the fact the recording was made in the first place. The respondent considered himself entitled to invade the claimant's privacy in this way, left me with a strong impression, buttressed by other evidence, that he is not a particularly ethical or honest person.
There you go.
So yeah, there's lots of things that a judge can be doing, looking at somebody that'll go ahead and do these kind of surreptitious recordings just to try making the other side look bad.
Yes.
You have to really think about what it's going to make you look like as well.
Yes. Wow.
So there are many different things that happens. And as I said, so that takes us back to even where we started. If you are the one having the conversation with the other party, it is not illegally obtained evidence, even if the other side doesn't consent.
Right.
If you've recorded a conversation between other parties and they don't know you're recording it and you're not a party to it, it is illegal. But when we're dealing with a court case, the court's mandate is to make a determination that is in the children's best interest.
Right.
Even in evidence that might be illegally obtained may still be found to be admissible. But then if it's admissible, how relevant is it? How probative is it? Like, does the prejudicial value outweigh the probative value? Like, is it just there that makes everybody look really, really bad? But really, from an evidentiary point of view, there isn't an awful lot that's proving a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So those, again, are the kinds of decisions that a judge has to make.
Helena, a question just popped into my head, which is a really good example about the illegal recording. So I always thought that if you did something against the criminal code, that you could be thrown in jail. Okay, so now let's say that you've tendered this illegal.
You could be criminally charged.
You could be. So, but who's going to charge you? Would it be your ex, the other parent charging you, or would it be the judge? Like, who's going to tell the police?
A judge isn't going to call the cops and have you charged, for starters. But a judge will not. So that.
Oh, a judge will not. Okay.
But no. A judge would not do that.
Okay.
But again, if you're tendering that secret, illegal recording in a family court proceeding, you means you have to provide it to the other side. So they're going to know you did that.
Yes.
They are totally within their rights to go to the police and lay an information asking for a charge.
Yes.
Depending on the police jurisdiction and maybe even just the officer you get that day on a police force.
Right.
there is a possibility that that you could then be charged with making an illegal recording. So yeah, a criminal charge is a possibility if what you're doing is illegal.
Okay.
But again, that's like one of the cases that we've talked about. And one of them, there actually were criminal charges for making an illicit
Oh,
recording.
wow. Okay.
But in the family law proceedings,
Right.
what was recorded was still admitted by the judge because the judge found it had
Okay.
evidentiary value for in helping the judge make a decision on what was going to be best for the children.
Yeah.
But it's really a two-edged sword.
Goodness.
And a judge will look at it and balance and weigh all the evidence that comes before him or her, and the fact that you are the type of person that would make these surreptitious recordings and attempt to rely on them by doing something completely illegal, is the judge might say, okay, fine, I understand there is a reason why this person should have some concerns, but I've got really a lot of concerns about the person that actually made the recordings as well.
Right. But yeah.
So it's always there. You have to try figuring out and saying, okay, if I put this before a judge,
Yes.
is it actually going to do what I think it's going to, like this whole thing about trying to prove parental alienation. So many of those recordings, all they end up doing is demonstrating to a judge how terribly you and the other party behave towards each other.
Yes.
With no consideration about, like, especially if the children are present.
Yeah.
And the two of you are carrying on like this in the presence of the children.
Yeah.
Court's going to say, you know, I'm not impressed with either of you, because if
Right.
neither one of you can be a responsible, mature, rational, polite person when the kids are present. My whole thing is what's best for the kids, and neither one of you is doing a good job of demonstrating that right now.